What's up, all you gargoyles who probably turn to stone after you place your bets for the night only to come out of it the next day looking for more bets?
It was the age of gargoyles.
It's Andy. I'm here to give you some of my favorite bets going into this divisional weekend in the NFL. We'll be focusing on the Saturday games today. But before we get to that, before we get to the DraftKings Sportsbook promo, don't think I'm not going to address the fact that there wasn't an NHL video today. You think I'm one of those? You think I'm scared of you? Well, obviously, many times, if you've watched these videos through the months, I've told you, you better hope I go 2 for 3. You better hope I go 3 for 5, because that keeps me here. What happens if I go 4 for 4? What happens if I go 5 for 5? I'm going to be at the pool in the Bellagio getting fanned by one of the bottle girls. Where was I last night? Enjoying the fruits of my sniff, getting fanned by one of the girls at the Bellagio. Now, it wasn't the Bellagio, and I wasn't getting fanned by a girl, but I was doing the equivalent of that, which meant there was not a chance in hell I was able to make a video this morning. So, you didn't get any NHL bets, but don't you even think for a second that I would ever be scared of looking you gargoyles down the pipe and say, that was a bad night. But that's why I tell you to enjoy the fruits of your sniff. Go out, enjoy, and then you know what happened? You wouldn't have lost on those awful picks. Am I excusing the awful picks? Absolutely not. I'll always look you in the eye and say those were awful picks. Same process went into Thursdays as it went into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Ain't always gonna work out. But for you cowards, like the ones on Twitter, who have one tweet to their name, and it's coming after me for not showing up for the picks, and then when I look at the bio, it says, I can't think of anything clever enough to put here. So you got one tweet, that's your bio, and you talk to me?
You almost had me.
Somebody who does have many clever things to say.
You never had me. You never had your car.
You better pick your battles wisely, my friend, because just know, if there's one benefit of missing some picks on a Thursday night, it's the fact that you are probably the one that missed them and are so pissed off you have to comment about it. Or not. Or you're one of the random guys who just roots against me, but I'm happy about it because you drive up the engagement by continuing to watch, root against me, and comment. It's a win-win around here, buddy. All right? DraftKings Sportsbook promo time. You bet $5 on anything, and DraftKings Sportsbook is going to credit your account with $200. You bet on any of these games for the divisional round in the playoffs, they're going to credit you with $200. You just got to be a new user. You got to be of age, 21 plus, and you got to be in an area where sports gambling is legal. And if you're ticking, you got problems, you're one of these gargoyles who does turn into stone in the middle of the night, well, when you uncrack out of that, call 1-800-GAMBLER. They have people who will help you, okay? So looking at this divisional Saturday, I think I tend to like more bets in the Chiefs game opposed to the Giants game, because that Giants game, the Giants-Eagles, comes with some variables. With the Chiefs, we're going to start with a bet that, I don't know, we keep winning it every single week, and they're refusing to drive up the yards, so I guess we're just going to keep taking it. I'm going to take the over on Isiah Pacheco rushing yards, which somehow has been moved down. Why? Because maybe during the last week, they played Ronald Jones in a couple extra series to make sure that the chance of a Pacheco injury didn't increase by giving a large workload in a game that they were mostly controlling. No, you're going to go back to the majority of carries going to him, and then a majority of the receiving work going to McKinnon, the third down work, and an occasional series. But you're talking about a game they're almost double-digit favorites in, even if you don't hit it early. Second half, when they're nursing a lead, we've hit many of those Pacheco bets in the second half once they were nursing a lead and they were more likely to hand off the ball. We've seen the Chiefs throw some beatings in this round 2 of the playoffs, and if that is the case, I'm not necessarily going to take the -9 with the Chiefs. However, I am going to take the Isiah Pacheco over on rushing yards. Then looking at the receiving yards, I'm going to go right back to Isiah Pacheco. Look at this. Look at the receiving yards in all these previous games. And now your rebuttal to that's going to be, but look, he's had 1 or 2 catches. Well, what they do, the Chiefs do this once or twice a game. They put Pacheco on the field, and that's usually a sign to the defense that it's going to be probably a running play or closer to a running play, because when he's on the field, it's not like he's the third down back. So if they see him, they more likely are to be in a formation to stop the run. Slightly, because you are dealing with the Chiefs here. So once or twice, they take advantage of that, and they have designed screens for Pacheco. You can look back, and usually when they get a front like that, he's taking it for like 15, 20 yards. Look at all those totals. They have they have his receiving yardage total at like 7.5 or 8.5. If he gets the one chance that he usually gets every single game, you can't count the last game where they rotated him out extra series because of Ronald Jones. He's hit the over on this. I'll take the chance that they run that one screen for him. I'll take the over on his receiving yardage. I'm also going to go back to a reliable guy in terms of that Chiefs offense. I know they've been using Tony more often. I know it's kind of a spread it around type of system, but I like Juju Smith-Schuster, any total in the 50s. He's won half for us. He's lost half for us. But in this game, I'm going to take the over on his receiving yards. Also, I'm going to take the over on Trevor Lawrence completions. If you are somebody who believes that the Chiefs are going to throw a beating in this game and they're going to go up big, I mean, just think, if there's one way to get back into it, they have all those receivers there. They got both Joneses, and they got Kirk and Ingram, and then ETN out of the backfield. Just take the completions. I think it's low. It's like 23. The only way we're going to get screwed is if they get up early, the Jags that is, and they try to nurse it by strategically running and then not throwing as much. But if you think they're going down, got to take the over on completions. I'll also take the over on passing yards plus rushing yards for Trevor Lawrence, just in case maybe he is struggling, because you know that Arrowhead crowd gets very loud. In case he happens to struggle a little more through the air, I'll trust that he rushes for a couple first downs. And also, if the Chiefs are in like a prevent defense in the second half, sometimes the quarterback can just take 10 to 12 yards. So I'll take the over on rushing plus passing for Trevor Lawrence. And I think that will conclude my bets for that game. Other than, I will take Travis Kelce to score a touchdown, and if you want to include a Chiefs win in that, that will put you at plus money. The Chiefs to win and Travis Kelce to score a touchdown in that one. Now going over to the more confusing game. The reason this is confusing is because you're looking at Jalen Hurts, who has essentially played once in the last 5 weeks, and it's because he had to in emergency fashion. How healthy is he? Are we going to be getting early season Hurts? Are we going to be getting the dominant Hurts that we saw play at MetLife just a month and a half ago, something like that? Or are we going to get this? Is he going to be slightly off? Is he going to be slightly off with throwing the ball? Is he going to be running it as much? We don't, that's a huge variable. Then there's the other variable of maybe people being way too high on the Giants because they beat up an awful defense last week. I mean, Minnesota could not stop anything. But say to yourself out loud, the receivers of the New York Giants, and then tell yourself out loud that Daniel Jones threw 15 touchdown passes all season. Are you going to get so enamored by that win against Minnesota, who almost lost to the Colts at home, needed the biggest comeback ever, almost lost? I mean, they got trounced by the Packers. It's not like it's that impressive of a win. There's just that weird feeling around them now. And then there's the mystique factor, like, oh, Giants going on one of those Super Bowl runs like Eli. I do not think that's the case at all. But when you couple that with the fact that you don't know what you're going to get from the Eagles, that's where all the kind of mystery comes in. The Eagles, who had to start Hurts because they couldn't get a win with Minshew, then they get another week off. What exactly are they going to look like? So for this game, one thing that I do think is that Jalen Hurts is going to throw one more touchdown pass than Daniel Jones. When you look at the amount of touchdown passes for the year, I think Jones is not what we saw last week. It's going to be what you normally would expect. If this was 1 month ago and I said, hey, Hurts or Jones, who's throwing more touchdowns on Sunday? You're going to go, oh, Hurts. But now I think the mystery around the situation moved the line down a little bit. So in the head-to-head matchup, I'm going to take Jalen Hurts to throw at least one more touchdown pass than Daniel Jones in this game. This is going to be called the rat prevention parlay. Just in case the Eagles fall flat on their face and they somehow don't win this game, I do see Jalen Hurts getting in for one of those touchdowns. Because if he isn't throwing the ball properly and he isn't, he's not on the same page as some of the receivers, I think we're going to get one of those games where he's going to try to put it on his shoulders and run the ball a little bit more. And especially if they get a first and goal, second and goal, I think he's cramming his way in there. So the rat prevention parlay is the Chiefs by 3 and the Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown. That puts you at plus money. And looking at this Eagles-Giants game, you guys, you want to pick the receiver? I was thinking about Dallas Goedert. I feel like he's a comfortable person to use in this game where Hurts, maybe if he isn't hitting Smith and A.J. Brown down the sidelines and just he happens to be a little more inaccurate because he's bothered by the shoulder, maybe Goddard over the middle with some completions. We know he has a good rapport with Goddard, and Goddard's looked great since he's come back, so I am tempted to take the over on his receiving yards. But you guys can help each other in the comments, because if there's a game that there's a lot of question marks and variables around, I'm not going to pretend like, oh, it's going to go this way. We just don't know. We don't know if we're overvaluing the Giants or if the Eagles are going to look like they did earlier in the season. I guess time will tell, which is why most of my bets came on that first game. Anyway, good luck to you. Better luck to me. I will be back with you guys tomorrow to look at all of those Sunday games, all 2 of them. And subscribe to the Odd Shopper channel. You know that. Come find me on social media. It's at Andy Francis, all social media platforms. Click that follow. I'll really appreciate it. I will be back with you tomorrow. Take it easy.